This is my brief cold read on my personal script that I've created of Chronically Me. Now, I did do quite a few drafts of this, and this is the very final draft that I'm doing a cold read of when I find it. I'm still flicking through. This is the very final draft that I actually used in my performance. So this is Chronically Me. 2006, best year ever. Winter Olympics in Italy, Nintendo Wii came out. I was born. Good year. I was healthy, absolutely fine. Then 2009 began getting very painful pins and needles in my legs to the point where I couldn't sleep, couldn't move. My mum takes me to the doctors and the doctors don't listen. And then tell my mum, it's growing pains. Stop being an overprotective mother. She'll be fine. Spoiler alert, I was not. Mum takes me to another doctor the following year. Does she have a sibling at home? Yes, she has an older brother. Well, she's just crying for attention then. Stop bothering after that. 2 spoonfuls of Calpol, problem solved. Worked for 10 years while attending more physio for hypermobility, which I absolutely do not have, by the way. See? Nothing. Then 2019, after a knee dislocation doing cross country, I headed to the hospital and one doctor says, well, try physio for 3 months and see how you are. Then the magic information I needed after yet another knee dislocation in December 2019, cross country again, I got the doctor that actually listened and he got me scans, x-rays, physio again. And another consultant on the case who said to me and my mum, and I quote, if the doctors listened when she was 3, we wouldn't be in this situation now. And the situation was me on crutches on and off for 2 years before being on them permanently for 3. Constant collapsing due to my legs being weak and constant knee dislocations until I had the surgery I desperately needed. I was diagnosed with squinting patella syndrome, which is when the bones in your legs are twisted and cause stress on your joints. So I had my corrective surgery and all that it took to get diagnosed was an x-ray. How easy is that? 13 years of fighting for an x-ray to get a diagnosis. Anyway, 2024, going great. January, so 1 year post-surgery and no pending issues currently, apart from the odd pain and odd collapse because my legs were weak. I can handle that. But then what's this? I'm looking at that. I'm going like that. A heart rate that's 50% higher than it should be for resting. Went to A&E, discharged without any tests. Been to A&E another 3 times. Still no answers. More hospital visits for more tests, still no conclusive answers. So that's where I'm at now. Hospital visits to try and find out what's wrong with me, but you know, what can you do? Chronic illness affects about 41% of the country, with more diagnoses being in women than men because our bodies are under so much more stress with like childbirth and things like that. Or like me, you're just unlucky. But medical gaslighting and medical negligence needs to be squashed. And now I just wanted to ask if any of you have been medically gaslit or in any way, or told your problems don't matter. And of course you don't have to share because your medical problems, they're private to you, so you don't have to. And then Chloe shared hers because I asked her to. So then I didn't ask and it'd just be like dead, no hands whatsoever. So yeah, Chloe came up and very kindly shared hers, and then I got on, so I just said, it's down here as thank you to everyone who took part, but I just said thank you to Chloe because she was the only person who took part. So thank you to Chloe for taking part, and I hope we're having fun. I don't want to turn this into a TED talk, so I want to share a medical story of mine. It's a bit embarrassing at the time, but tragedy plus time equals comedy, so let's go. So let me set the scene for you. Sat week 2018, we got out for early break because we finished our test early, playing football, and my knee popped for the first time, which, looking back, probably a warning sign that something wasn't right. But I'd had knee troubles all my life, just pinned it down to hypermobility. So I was crying, and my friend Dolly went and got the English teacher, and my English teacher, Mrs. English, that's not a fake name by the way, came over, and her and Ollie started helping me back into the classroom. But it was a bit of a struggle for me. So Mrs. English decided it'd be a better idea to pick me up and carry me like a baby into the classroom, like that. So already embarrassing, one of the oldest kids in the school getting carried like a baby into their classroom, get inside, and she still doesn't know what to do. So she gets the absolute medical marvel we all need in our lives, the almighty thing that fixes all issues, a wet paper towel. That was the answer to all the problems in primary school. If only doctors started using those in practice. I mean, how good would that be? Scrape knee, wet paper towel. Nosebleed, wet paper towel. Broken collarbone perhaps, wet paper towel. And that's another story from my school for another day, but here we are. I'm just thankful I got my answers to my chronic pain, and I will have it forever, but it only took about 3 years from the symptoms really to get my surgery, and that's not too bad since people wait years to get a diagnosis of a chronic illness, and we still get gaslit, and then professionals wonder why it takes so long. So take a look at the people working for the NHS before the patients if I were you. And one of my social media followers, Jess, has been gaslit for a long time, and I talked to her about her problems and she's given me permission to share them today. So she described to me as having a whirlwind experience into getting her endometriosis diagnosis, as well as her adenomyosis. I can't actually say that word. Adenomyosis, I think. Diagnosis, as well as her adenomyosis diagnosis that has been draining on her in every aspect of her life. She's gone from happy, healthy woman, she played sports every week, worked, even did volunteer work in A&E, and that is hard. And now some days she can't even get out of bed because of the pain she's in. And she may also have a cancerous spot that's been missed because of medical gaslighting. It could have been there for a really long time, but the doctors haven't listened to her about her endometriosis, and it could be a cause of that. And that's also been missed as well as her endometriosis, which is heartbreaking. And I really hope that she doesn't have... I'm hoping she does it. I'm hoping that isn't cancer, because she is a lovely person and doesn't deserve to be in all the pain because of doctor's negligence, and it happens to people everywhere. However, the good news is Jess had her surgery 2 days ago, and she's finally got her diagnosis, and she's been fighting and gaslit for as long as I've been alive. How crazy is that? And doctors have awful ways of giving you non-medical remedies, don't they? Here's some of my favourites. Have you tried losing weight? Mate, I'm 7 stone. How much more do you want me to lose? Have you tried yoga and meditation? You know what? Clear mind means clearing problems. Thanks. And my personal favourite. Have you tried drinking more water? Wait a minute. That's the answer to everything, drinking water. That makes everything better. Cheers, doc. I did add a few extra bits in that I thought the audience might like, and I did think of them off the top of my head, which I am quite proud of myself for, because I'm not normally that quick with jokes. But that was my cold read of Chronically Me, and I did add a couple of bits in there because I found that a lot of it didn't make sense due to my own chronic illness, because it causes brain fog and I'm really struggling with my spelling and grammar, so a lot of that didn't actually make sense. So I think working on it like that was probably the best, and I think in future I should get someone to proofread my script.